What's happening, friends? Welcome to the 282nd edition of Unlocked. It is the world's #1 Xbox show. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. I'll introduce my crew in a second here. But first, coming up on this week's show, Playground Games, the makers of the outstanding Forza Horizon series, have a new secret second project that's not so secret anymore, and it is not a racing game. So more on that coming up. Also, E3 is open to the public, so if you've ever wanted to go, maybe run into one of us, we'll talk to you about how to do that. Also, Grand Theft Auto 5 hits yet another sales milestone. Some Psychonauts 2 news that's good for everybody looking forward to the latest from Tim Schafer and Double Fine, and much, much more. First, I want to say hi to everybody. Destin, you're looking excellent.
And very tan.
Sean Finnegan.
Hello,
For
everyone.
the young Mr. Legary. Good to see. That is a nice,
a thing that you
nice
do?
jacket.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Chomp?
He's a chomper.
A long time ago, Tim told me I should just adopt the nickname Shark for some reason. Finnegan, I think it's because of my last name.
we went with it.
Yeah, and it kind of stuck, so that's a thing now.
We're making it stick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just putting some double-sided stick tape on the back of it.
Anyway, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Alana Pierce.
What's up,
Hi. Welcome back from your homeland.
Australia? It was incredible.
Yes.
I interviewed Kojima for over an hour. I played the Switch for the first time.
Nice.
The weather was nice. It's raining.
Yeah. It's summer there, right?
It is. Yeah, it was really
so
hot. It got
jealous.
to like 97 degrees at
Did
one
you
point.
did you bring me back one of those Xbox One floaties, the inflatable controller pool thing?
Legitimately asked if I could get one. I
Yeah.
did not, but I did bring back 8 packets of Tim Tams.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
are
know.
those?
Dope ass cookies,
Really?
biscuits as we call them.
Meme it right now.
This is an outrage. And
Marty Sleva.
I didn't go anywhere.
I know you.
I didn't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
you've been here.
How was that?
It was great. Just got piss drunk.
Did you meet the dogs?
Yeah, I met hella dogs. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, I pet
Cool.
like 4 of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Thanks, man.
Meeting the quota for the day. Good stuff. I'm gonna.
Hey, wow. That'd be awesome. I've had 4 dogs before noon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the best
I
day of
think
my
I
life.
might smuggle one in tomorrow.
Maggie?
Because we have a
It'd
thing.
be weird if it wasn't Maggie.
We have a vet appointment to go to like right after work, so I think tomorrow might be a Maggie day.
Excited.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. First up, I wanted to mention how prescient the show is. We predicted the rise of marketing for Halo Wars 2.
I like to think that they put this into production after listening to last week's episode.
Yeah, they just whipped it up in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Just because of us. That didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. No, it was good to see, Sean, you were talking about, no, you're not Destin.
No.
You're in the Destin chair. That's
I
why.
am.
You
Okay, become
assume
Destin.
Destin.
Yeah, I've become him.
Yeah,
It was my
Destin.
What would he say about
I
Halo
mean, you
Wars
like
2?
Destiny. You guys.
I do like Destiny.
Destin was talking last week how you wanted to see those killer blur cutscenes put
And-
together into a
and then we did.
trailer, and then we got exactly that in the
Yeah.
cinematic launch trailer, which made me want to play Halo Wars 2. And it hopefully reminded everybody that, yes, this game is coming out in, well, as of now, week and a half?
Yeah, we can
Just
have.
about.
Week and a
yeah.
half. It's going to be good, hopefully. So good to see the awareness start to kick up for Halo Wars 2. But really, the big news this week was pretty well out of nowhere as far as I was concerned. I don't know about you guys, but Playground Games, they make Forza Horizon. They are their track record so far is unbelievable. It's 3 games, 3 Forza Horizon games. I think they've never gotten less than a 9 from IGN on any of those 3. And in fact, Horizon 3 got a 9.5, a Game of the Year nomination. Well deserved. I know, Alana, you're like me, a big fan
Yeah,
of the
the
Horizon
games just
series.
keep getting better. It's crazy.
But they've got a second studio that they're ramping up and a second project, just codenamed Project 2. And it's an open world game, but it's not a racing game, which was just curious, right? I wouldn't. It's not like, oh my god, that's terrible, or wow, that's incredible. It's just sort of like, oh, that's interesting.
So one thing that I wanted to point out early that I find to be an interesting distinction is like, would we consider games that are open world but have like very interesting like for instance the Mad Max game? Would you call that a racing game?
No.
No.
So does this game still have cars? You think?
Maybe
I would bet money this game has cars.
Yeah, there's a difference between a car game and a racing game for sure. It could be something a lot more arcadey. Mad Max is kind of a good point that you use a car most of the time.
or Grand Theft Auto for that matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Or there's car combat, that
Right.
kind of stuff. I just I read that and I was like, oh, not a car game. And then I was like, wait, why does that mean there can't be? I mean, not a racing game. Why does that mean there can't be cars? This is a car developer.
Yeah.
They've made games that kind of have a lot of these mechanics based around those types of
But I mean,
things.
if they're opening up a second studio, that means staffing up and not necessarily staffing up with folks who worked on racing games in the past.
True.
I mean, I do think there will be cars in the game, but yeah.
Yeah, so Ralph Fulton, the ever humble leader and co-founder of the studio, who I've met on a number of occasions, including, we revealed Forza Horizon 2, which was the very first IGN first, which I'll always remember fondly. I got to go out to that studio and then have jet lag hit me like right in the middle of the day. I was just
that's
like,
in the UK.
oh, yeah. Royal Leamington Spa, about an hour and a half north of London.
So damn fancy.
Apparently, that's where the royalty used to go and escape to. That's why it's
Royal Leamington Spa.
Yes.
The royalty used to go and inbreed.
They're building.
Oh, yes.
So Playground's building is awesome. It's an old English manor that's been converted into a dev studio.
That's dope.
It's a really sweet building, one of the cooler dev studios I've seen. But Ralph saying, quote, pardon me, no, he didn't say cough. Quote, we feel like we've become pretty good at racing games over the years, in the biggest understatement of the decade.
Debatable.
We can always get better. We can always strive to get better, but we'd love to prove ourselves in a different genre. That's another goal of Project 2 to allow us to do that. We're going to need to hire some very talented people with experience that we don't have. Ralph does note that they will not be leaving Forza behind. This is not in replacement to Horizon or the Forza franchise in general. He says, our business with Forza over the last 6-7 years has been great for us. It remains the cornerstone of our business. We're not running away from racing. Shouldn't he have said driving away from racing? Yeah. We still feel passionate about making new racing games and delivering new experiences for our players.
Thinking about like the tech that they had in Forza Horizon 3, like the blueprints are a really impressive thing. Obviously, drivatars are a really impressive thing, and I think the festivals and the way that they work is pretty cool too. I wonder if there's a different kind of genre they can incorporate.
I think that's totally true.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because there are important, before Xbox fans start sort of fantasizing about what Playground could do in an open world non-racing game with all that stuff. You've got to remember there's a key thing here that I think a lot of people don't know. Playground isn't owned by Microsoft. They are an independent studio. It's effectively a second-party relationship, same way as like Retro with Nintendo, and that means all the Forza Horizon code base that they share a tech pipeline with Turn 10. So it's the same underlying Forza engine, and with Horizon it's open world and they go to 30 frames for the bigger scope. For Motorsport, it's 60 and they go track racing, but it's the same underlying tech. That's why when one got weather, the other got weather, etc. So that's all Microsoft property. So they're not going to be able to use that stuff.
So they couldn't get drivatars then either.
Unless this game does end up being a Microsoft first-party exclusive. If Microsoft just signs them up for this as well, then sure, then they could totally use all of that.
I kind of assumed that they would, but then we probably would have had a quote from someone other than just Ralph Fulton, right? Like maybe then Xbox would have said something, or they would have said it was exclusive.
Well, apparently GI.biz sort of got the scoop on this, and I wonder if they were even sort of ready to let this cat out of the bag. They went ahead and, Ralph gave a quote, but the other thing too, I mean, it's... He said, I didn't read the rest of his quotes, but it's still so early in this. They're still staffing up that I'm sure they're not even ready to announce
Won't see it for years.
platform or any of that stuff. So
I still bet you it's multi-platform though. Like if you're a dev, sure you have a good business relationship with Microsoft, a great like partnership with them, but like the potential to put your game on multiple platforms, and with one of the other platforms that isn't Microsoft being the bigger one out there amongst console gamers, like it seems like a big missed opportunity in terms of just revenue. Like if you want to build a new studio, a whole new team of people, like it's a safer bet business-wise to put it on multiple.
Yeah, unless there's a big contract with Microsoft,
exactly
with Kojima and
Sony. Yeah, I agree completely with you, Sean, because I wrote down that exact thing. As from the last numbers, the ballpark numbers we had. Oh wait, not this. It's on that first page somewhere. You're looking at if you make the game multi-platform, you're looking at 80 or so million console players to sell it to versus 30.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's a huge difference.
So I'm not saying it's impossible, right? Like you mentioned, Microsoft could be like, well, we'll give you all this extra support, all this extra, like maybe access to proprietary tech. featured during E3 conferences, like, front page placement on the dashboard, all this stuff that could help you market the game better to that 30 million. But it's a big number to make up. That's all.
Well, isn't it Play Anywhere though?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not
So
counting.
it's
I'm just
also on PC.
counting console.
Yeah.
Because there's about roughly 50-something million PS4s in the world and mid 30-something million Xbox One. So you sell, if you're multi-platform, you can sell to all of those
Yeah, sure.
versus just the 30-something million on the Xbox side. And then of course, you've still got all the PC stuff.
I think this would be a Switch game. No, I don't. I think it's gonna be a Switch game.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong about that.
At this point, I wish everything was a Switch game. It'd just be nice to have it.
Sure, Nintendo does too.
Love options.
The other possibility is, and I think this is unlikely. I think your multi-platform theory is correct, but we've seen Sony take every opportunity to stick the PR knife in Microsoft's back that they can. And what if Sony, swoops in, gets wind of this, and says, "Oh, let's make a better offer.
Ooh.
Let's sign this as a Sony game, just to tweak Microsoft a little bit."
My immediate thought was that they would do the marketing thing at E3 where you see it at all their conference. I don't know that Playground would agree to having it as an exclusive because that could hurt an existing relationship.
Yeah,
But if
that's a fair point. Actually,
you're right. But if the offer's right,
yeah.
But you look at someone like Insomniac developing Sunset Overdrive
That's
as
true.
Microsoft exclusive, and now Spider-Man as PlayStation exclusive.
Although Insomniac didn't necessarily have, well,
They
I
also
guess
have
they had
Oculus
more of it. They had a
exclusives.
Sony
They do a lot
history.
of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always, as much as gamers like us like to think about the appearances and politics of it. It is money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's Playground's going to do what's best for its business, and that's probably a multi-platform
and it's people,
situation.
You got to
Yes.
think they're building a whole new team here, so it's really important that you make sure that you're, at least in my mind, that you're giving those people security, the team security.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that would be a real kind of M. Night Shyamalan twist if they ended up making a Sony exclusive. Just because, like, on the Sony's part, that would be a real expensive way to poke Microsoft,
It would
You're
cost
right.
a lot of money.
They do like to poke people, or they do want to poke Microsoft when they can.
Stop saying the word poke.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm quite like poking Microsoft when you can.
Okay. Stab, is that better? That's what Ryan used.
That is actually significantly better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much better than poke.
Graphic.
Yeah.
Why is poke so bad?
Because I'm thinking
Because she's talking about
banging.
wieners.
Sex thing.
Oh. Well,
Oh, dang.
What did you expect from us, Sean?
I don't know. I remember it being like a Facebook thing.
What do you use Facebook
No, that
for?
was also a flirting thing. It was 100% a sex thing on Facebook too. You poked someone, it was like, yeah, he totally wants to.
You just changed his whole perspective on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't ever go on that.
You were
platform.
poking everyone.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't see Microsoft. I don't see Sony doing it. Sony is a troubled company right now. Not the games business. That's like their one lifeboat. I mean, Sony, the overall company. I don't know if you guys read about this. There was some crazy Hollywood Reporter article that mentioned that Sony, as a company, is posting $1 billion loss this quarter.
That's not good.
Just this quarter.
Didn't they post a profit largely on the back of the PlayStation division last year?
Yeah,
as
the
I
Hollywood
recall?
Reporter article goes out of its way to be like, the one bright spot in Sony's business is this strong sales of this thing called PlayStation. Like, they spell it wrong and stuff. Like,
Really?
It's super funny. No, not quite, but they got the caps wrong.
Oh, no intercap?
The intercap.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's like, I still see mainstream media articles
I mean, Hollywood Reporter doesn't know that. Though, games business.
totally. Because I still see some outlets spell Xbox with a capital X and capital B.
Oh.
That's never been a thing ever.
Yeah.
You're never going to get poked if you make all these typos.
It's just a noun. Like, at some point, I just want to tell that marketing with the way that a word is presented to just get out. Like the fact that Amiibo doesn't have an S on the end and is also always a lowercase
Oh,
a.
you mean
And, like,
watch
come
underscore
on.
dogs?
Yeah.
Hashtag Drive Club?
It's ridiculous.
We're 3 weeks away from communicating entirely in emojis anyway in this country, in this
I will
society.
resign from life.
That's.
Don't resign from life. We need you.
I was like, you can't do
value
that.
you.
And then I was like, oh, wait, no, you can. Oh, no.
Do that. Anyway, so yeah, going to be very, very interested to see whose E3 stage Ralph Fulton appears on next.
In 4 years.
Well, who knows?
It's probably not going to see that.
It depends. We don't know how long they've been working on it. They could have been prototyping something. I mean, odds are they've already. The thing is, they've almost certainly already got a deal in place with someone or multiple people.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of when it comes out, when it's announced, when it's made public in some fashion. So there you go. Playground Games growing and thriving, and I mean, obviously, whatever this is, I'm going to be very excited for it because their track record is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
just phenomenal studio. Next up, this is great news for all of you listening and watching. E3 is going to be much more formally open to the public. They've sort of dabbled in this the last couple of years, but it is a official come one, come all, and by all I mean 15,000 of you.
Come one, come 15,000.
But yeah, E3 is going to be open to the public. Consumer passes will go on sale on E3's website, which is e3expo.com. Mark your calendar if you want to go, if you want to get your way to LA. Spoiler alert, book a hotel now. Like literally pause this podcast and do it now, because all of downtown, before they started allowing 15,000 additional people, hotels were a nightmare, as well as Airbnbs. But the passes will go on sale on February 13th, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The first 1,000 of those 15,000 tickets will set you back $149, so effectively an early bird special. The remaining 14,000 tickets will be $249, and you'll be wandering the show floor. You'll be bumping into us. You'll be doing the whole thing.
Waiting in 7-hour lines.
Yep.
And then you'll find
Yes.
those tickets on eBay later for $1,000 each.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, depending
Totally
on
gonna have
their
scalping.
depending on their security situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know PAX does their best to
That's
get
true.
around
They
that.
do ID people
but-
these days.
Yeah, I do. Like I see people selling PAX passes out
At PAX.
in front of PAX. Yeah, it's sort of a scalping
But
thing.
PAX doesn't ID you.
no.
Yeah,
True.
they scan you.
Yeah, E3
Yeah.
they're really diligent about checking the badges, but
Yeah.
and
It's
sometimes
real,
the IDs.
real.
But anyway,
annoying.
I mean, this is huge news, because if I were to rewind myself to 12-year-old Ryan, I would be over the moon at this possibility. I probably wouldn't be able to afford to go because I would have been in Phoenix and trying to get to LA as a
Also
teenager.
12. You said 12-year-old Ryan. Did you have a job?
No,
How are you going to go to E3?
that's what I'm saying.
Be accompanied
I'm saying
by
I would have
a
dreamt.
guardian of.
All right, let's fast. 16-year-old. Thanks, Marty.
No, I totally would. Yeah,
No,
like
yeah,
high school or
it's-
college, I would have loved to go to this.
Yeah.
It would have been incredible because, yeah, I before E3, the video game sort of annual trade show was at CES in Las Vegas, interestingly enough. And I would always read about it in EGM after and be like, oh, I wish I could go to CES. But now, of course, E3 being in LA, it's on. It's going to be public. There'll be just about all the publishers that are there, even if they're not there. Like we saw so many publishers pull out
Yeah.
on an official capacity last year, but a lot of them are gonna be there and be accessible.
I actually wonder if this move is in response to that. We'd kind of known on the industry side of things that E3's let's call it influence was waning in the industry. Like devs were opting to do more efficient ways of showing their games to the public. Like the bigger ones, like EA, chose to remove it entirely and do their own separate thing kind of nearby. Blizzard never really had its own presence there because they could easily just do BlizzCon. And then some of the smaller devs who do have awesome stuff to show simply can't afford the space because
That's
it's
true.
so expensive and there's so many other people there.
It's funny. Last year was in the halls are pretty much split in half. There's one hall that has most of the first parties, and that's where our booth are, like the IGN booth is there. And there's another hall that's all third parties. And last year, that third party hall was borderline empty.
Oh, it was
like
weird.
sort of dense in the
You-
middle.
yeah, you
and then
got to
just
the fringes,
giant
and then it
open
was
spaces
just
on the
like,
side.
where am I?
And so I totally understand them being like, how do we fill this room? Like, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's just money. Like I feel like
Sure.
they just want to make more profit off of it. Like,
Well, especially if publishers are pulling out of E3,
Yeah. They're
those
losing that money.
that's millions of dollars that the ESA is losing. So
Yeah.
they've got to figure out a way to make it up.
Well, that's what I mean is like this looks to me to be like a money makeup situation. But we were talking a little bit off air, which I guess we could bring up now, is like, is this the right implementation? Like if the goal is to bring more people and more money and more revenue into the event, is a hard cap at 15,000 the way to do it? Or do they do something a little bit more like Gamescom where the show is now, instead of 3 days in a weekend, it's 5 or 6 days. I forget how many it is.
anyway.
But then the last 2-3 days are widely open to the public, no
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think there's a security issue with how many people they let in, of course.
Potentially. But
And
I
I
mean,
think
does it
every
seem
year
to be
there's been
difficult? Have
a
you been to
gun threat.
Gamescom?
Yeah.
Gamescom is wow.
So that
the building is so well facilitated for industry in that they have those like off-site areas. I didn't even need to really go to the main hall.
Yeah.
Also, the convention hall itself is enormous.
Yeah, it's massive.
I'm really curious. I feel like they're going to have to adapt the kind of things that are at E3 for these 15,000 people that are more community facing. Because there's, as of right now, there aren't a ton of community-ish things to do at E3, unlike PAX.
Thinking. And I mean, you
it's
just
true. Like, I don't know
lines.
I don't know if this 250 means you get to go to the press conferences. I don't know if this means,
right.
You get to go to the Bethesda showcase and see the concert at night.
Right.
Well, they did let people do that last year. There were community allowed to the Bethesda
a select
showcase.
few. Yeah.
But I mean, I went the year before last for BBC, and I had to wait in line for 4 hours to play Unravel. For 4 hours.
That's how long the game is.
Well, I mean, we literally played for 18 minutes. So it's like, I think that if people go to E3, they need to facilitate a culture thing, because otherwise, really all there is to do is wait in line. Like, that's kind of it. I mean, all the booths look really cool, but you can't, there's not really anything to buy.
Last year, far and away, the most popular game was Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
And that sort of giant Zelda game. Those lines capped like 20 minutes into the day.
Yeah.
And you'd be, that was exactly what I was going to bring up is the Nintendo booth every year, especially last year where it was just Zelda and that was it and everybody was excited for it. But the Nintendo booth every year, people end up waiting literally all day, and that's all they do. They sit in line all day, and then they get to finally play whatever
Smash or
Nintendo
Zelda,
thing at the end of the day. And if of course, if that's how you want to spend your time at E3, great. But
what else can you do?
Wait in shorter lines and see 4 or 5.
I waited so long for Unravel though. Like I feel like the lines for most things are really long.
They can be. I mean, there are like the Xbox booth, the first party booths other than Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft's booths do have kiosks, and you can just walk up and play too. And
but like a ton of indie games, like smaller games,
But even like
they also have weird little, like at last year's when they introduced the Elite controller, the Pro controller, whatever. Like there's cool little like you said, kiosks where you can go up and just play with the controller and assemble your own. All the accessories are there.
Yeah,
stuff that isn't necessarily game related that you can still entertain your time with.
Yeah, but like
Xbox and PlayStation last year both had things that maybe were 15-minute waits, which is true. But I think for the bigger things, it takes forever.
So that's like the
stuff that you'd want to go to E3 for.
Yeah, the Xbox booth last year, they had like a little, maybe what amounted to a 20-30 minute queue for Recore, I think Sea of Thieves' line tend to be a bit longer throughout the week, but Dead Rising 4, like it was for the non-Halos of the world and non-Zeldas of the world. It's usually not as bad, and that's so. I would say you guys chime in. My tips for if you decide to go to E3, number 1, wear comfortable shoes. Yeah. The LA Convention Center is big. I mean, if you've ever been to a PAX, these are the same tips you already know, but wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of walking. And number 2, bring your Nintendo Switch to kill time in the inevitable lines, or 3DS in the inevitable lines you're going to have.
Zelda.
And number 3, this is an important one. Do not eat at the convention center. You're going to think, how bad could it be? You don't want to know the answer to that question. Don't do it. There are food trucks outside usually. There's the LA Live is you walk out the door and turn left, and there's the LA Live with tons of good restaurants, which they're busy too, but don't eat at the convention center.
Yeah, avoid convention
Trust
center
me
food.
from experience on this one.
I'd add something. Drink lots of water.
Yeah, I was gonna say get water bottles in advance.
You'd be surprised. Like it's an air conditioned facility and stuff, but with so many people walking around, it can get pretty hot and it can get pretty sweaty in there, and you get dehydrated really quick, especially if you're walking around a lot, and you become miserable real quick. So drink lots of water.
We're making it sound terrible. E3
it's great.
Fun.
That's the thing. But it is a physical experience.
Totally.
It's
like
not
any convention, really.
Yeah, for sure. But I do agree with you, Sean. Though I think E3, the ESA's been sort of dipping their toe in, but I really think that this isn't the ideal solution. It's a step, but I really do think they should either go totally private, media trade only, or to as you say, keep up with the times with the PAXs and the Gamescoms and the TGSs of the world. Go all out. Have a 2 or 3 public days at the end after the media days, and you can make all your money back and invite, you can admit 150,000 people instead of 15,000
Totally.
people. But for this year, $250 pass unless you are able to crash the site early and get in there for $150. But if you see us, do stop us and say hi, because we may look like we're beelining somewhere, but speaking personally, my brightest moments of a hectic, busy E3 last year, I probably had 30 super nice IGN fans stop and just say hello to me, and it really brightens my day.
Oh, yeah.
When people do that,
It's totally awesome, especially like, you guys are pretty forward facing at IGN, but for some of the people who aren't, like me, it's awesome to hear from fans when they're like, hey, I liked you on Unlocked. I'm like, oh, that's awesome you even saw it, because most of the time people don't. I remember I was at Comic-Con for the first time. Or not for the first time, but for the first time a fan approached me. I was waiting for one of our freelancers, this guy Matt Fowler, and we were in a rush. We were doing some WWE thing, and this guy came up to me and he goes, Sean Finnegan. And I hadn't met Matt Fowler before, so I was like, Matt, great. I handed him the mic, and I was like, we got to go, man. Let's get going. They're waiting for us in there right now. And he goes, oh, no. He got super nervous, and he goes, I really like Unlocked. And I was like, oh, not Matt.
I like the idea that this is how the dude gets his job at IGN.
Yeah.
He's been working
And
here
that's
ever
how Matt
since.
Fowler got his job.
So wait, who is the guy that claims to be Matt Fowler then? Because apparently,
I like it.
this guy's he's
I like
the talented Mr. Ripleying
Yeah.
this thing.
It was
That man
super
was
fun.
Max Scoville.
Yeah. Because that was the first time a fan had ever approached me, and I could say, because until that point, I was like, Sean Finnegan does not have fans in this third person. Yes, I just referred to myself
Sean,
as the
You
third
rolled up
person.
your
Not
sleeves
have
and said
fans?
you got
It's a little warm in here.
yeah.
It's never
It's the
warm in this
opposite of
room. Are
warm.
you kidding? It's
Well,
chilly
Willy.
Willy.
as Sean Finnegan once told me, stay hydrated.
Yeah.
You got to keep drinking water, lots of water.
Yeah.
Where's your water, Sean? We got water.
Missed out, man.
Ooh,
I can't believe
where's
you
your
drink
label-free
that
water?
Sparkling water. Ugh.
Why? It's spicy
Gross.
water.
It's better than
Regular water.
better than soda or something.
Actually, related to
sugary.
What about
Gamescom, the
just
first time
regular
we went
water?
there, you'd try and get regular water and you just can't.
Oh, in Europe, it's the sparkling is by default.
Oh, I
you have
hate
to
that.
ask for.
So
still, yeah.
someone told us that when we were on that trip, that if we just shook the sparkling water enough, the gas would get out. That was not true, but it meant that everyone was just walking around shaking their bottles of water.
Who told
Yeah.
you that?
How
It was
were
like-
you?
I was there for Xbox, and it was like one of the Xbox reps was like, "Yeah, if you guys just do this."
How were
did you
you-
never
yeah, how
open
were
a
you-
soda as a kid and
Yeah,
have
how
it
were you
explode
duped
over
by
you?
this?
It didn't do that. It didn't explode.
Really?
It would make it like slightly less gassy. But
Oh,
it would
so you're
still
telling
taste
us
like
it worked.
trash. I mean,
So
slightly.
this is good advice. Marty, try it.
It doesn't explode.
No, don't do it.
He's doing it.
It's been open too long now. It's not gonna. Yeah,
Okay, no,
that's no fun.
That got too spicy.
Moving on, Grand Theft Auto 5 has now sold in. This is so meaning shipped to stores. Not quite all of these have found homes yet, but it is up to 75 million copies shipped.
That's crazy.
Which, not impressed. Alana Pierce, not
Not that
impressed.
much. It's fine.
Whatever. Call me back when it gets to 100.
Yeah.
When it gets to 9 figures. But what I found interesting about this, as noted by noted news guru here at IGN, Andrew Goldfarb, it sold more copies in 2016 than in 2015.
What?
How does that happen?
How
It's-
does that
it's-
happen?
It's GTA Online support, I think, that it just
you're
they
right.
keep making that better and better, and I understand why people are still jumping on.
I mean, you're totally right about that, but it's still kind of interesting to think that just supporting something post-launch could outdo your major focused marketing pushes when you're running TV commercials and stuff
Okay,
like
but
that,
it didn't
right?
launch with online, right?
True. Well,
It's like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, so that technically wasn't initially a thing. So it has had like this full marketing hype, I guess, and it's better now, so much better, and just keeps getting better. So I can understand why it has that steam. I mean, it has
Yeah,
so much to do.
Do you guys remember when everybody was super mad that GTA Online was not working super great in the no one remembers that because it
Yeah.
was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it works great now, and they have in fact we were just talking the online heists, the 4-player like multi-part missions that I only ever ended up doing one of them, and I think there's 4
4 or 5.
4 or 5 of them.
And now they have the bikers thing that was
Yeah.
sort of end of last year. It's basically like GTA Online does a really good job of. There are people who play it in certain ways, and basically Rockstar figured out that these guys were playing it like biker gangs and were fighting each other and had clubhouses. So they were like, okay, let's just formally facilitate that. Like I think it's really impressive, and I understand why it is continuing to sell incredibly well.
It just tells me, number one, Red Dead Redemption 2 might not be Grand Theft Auto. Nothing's on that level, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be bigger than any of us can even possibly.
I mean,
have
could
enough
it?
money.
Can we entertain the idea that it might be bigger than Grand Theft Auto? There's a huge amount of hype for Red Dead. It's very well received by a lot of people.
So one of the biggest differences is that mainstream press will cover a new GTA game. Like the New York Times will cover GTA 5, and it doesn't even matter if they say it's because you can kill hookers in it. It just everyone talks about.
My mom knows what Grand Theft Auto is. My mom doesn't know what Red Dead Redemption is.
Yeah, and I think it's just it has so much more reach.
Red Dead's like the hipster GTA.
Kind of. I mean, it's still gonna sell millions, but yeah, it's basically
wearing a sweater and a fedora.
No, I mean it could arguably. He said fedora, and you pointed to me. I would never wear a fedora.
Milady.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll sell these numbers, but I think it's fully possible that it'll be one of, if not the best-selling game of the year.
I mean,
aside from
I
maybe
would-
Call of Duty and Battlefront.
Yeah,
2.
I would suspect that whatever Rockstar's and Take-Two's internal Red Dead Redemption 2 sales forecasts have been revised upwards over the last 6 months.
They will also likely have a Red Dead Online like they did with the first one,
Yeah, they 100%.
which
will.
I
they
really
already said-
liked. And I mean, because they've already built in such a good system with GTA 5, they can use a lot of that. And doing it in Weston actually appeals more to me than GTA Online does.
Yeah.
It just lends itself so much better in a more organic way, right? Like the Stagecoast heist and the robbing the the train
and
and
stuff,
breaking a buddy
Yeah.
out of jail.
Going after sheriffs.
What's the chance I could play as a horse?
Probably
That
pretty good.
Seems kind of likely.
Yeah. Yay
You
or
play
nay?
as a Sasquatch. Damn it.
You can play as a Sasquatch?
Yeah, in GTA 5.
Pacific Northwest
It's like
Woodland
this.
Ape?
Did you guys hear about that? It's like this crazy
Tell me.
thing where you have to go to a certain area
mod?
of the map at a certain amount of time
Oh,
after having
yeah.
collected all this stuff, and the weather has to be a certain thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
that's
can
standard Sasquatch lore.
turn into a Sasquatch.
You transform into a Sasquatch?
Like Harry and the Hendersons.
I think you have to be as a certain character as well. It's like very, very specific. So it took people like I think over a year to figure out how to do it. But
There's a character named Sasquatch.
no, it's a literal Sasquatch.
No, that's the character you have to play as. Sasquatch.
You haven't played GTA 5, have you?
Absolutely.
There we go. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I know a ton about Sasquatch.
Well, not in GTA 5 apparently.
Well,
I think you're such a Sasquatch expert.
Big Sasquatch.
Put it on the list after.
This is the hill I'm
after,
gonna die on that I
after
know
you-
more about Sasquatch than you.
after you never finish Mass Effect.
Oh dang.
What are you talking? We're gonna play a bunch on Friday.
We are, yeah.
They say that every week.
But we do.
But we do every week.
Which Mass Effect are you on right now? 3?
1.
Are you
We
on
are
3?
going to finish 1. That's it.
Certainly gonna finish one.
Where is he roughly in the story?
We're actually pretty close to the end.
So the big reveal about
No, we're pretty close to that though.
that's not the end though. There's like a whole other act
That's-
after the
Yes,
reveal,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very good at the game. Except when it comes to the tank, I'm very bad at it.
I mean, no, you're great.
You mean the
I
Mako?
love your guys'
Yeah.
Let's Play series, but I kind of wish you hadn't done it on this game.
Why?
Because I don't know. I feel like,
People keep saying I'm not enjoying the story. I'm 100% enjoying the story.
Well,
okay.
I like the story.
yeah, no.
Even Alana doubts you.
No. There was one episode where we drank a bunch,
Oh yeah.
and then we couldn't remember it the next time.
we came back to it. So we
didn't really
came back the
remember
next
what
week and we were sober. We're like,
Oh, we're
Mitchell,
like-
where were we? I was
we're
like,
like-
I don't remember. He's like telling us everything that happened. I was like, I don't remember any of those.
Yeah,
things.
we were like, oh, we don't really know where we are now. We probably shouldn't have done that.
No, unlike some dude, I'm playing through that and playing through Skyrim. I've just straight up realized I don't like Skyrim.
Mm.
I like Mass Effect.
Yeah,
though.
I'm not a huge fan of Skyrim, but I love
Do you like Fallout? You haven't played that either, have you?
No, I played.
You played a little bit?
I played it like 10 hours of Fallout 4.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy about it.
it. I love
Interesting.
Fallout.
Yeah. Because people do tend to really prefer
One or the
Fallout
other.
or
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls, even though
It's
they're weird.
for me.
And I'm an Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
guy. Like I Fallout, I'm good with, but I love Elder Scrolls. I flamed out on Fallout 4 after about 25 hours.
I
which
didn't
is
play that
kinda
much of
where I
Fallout
dropped
4
out, too.
either, but I played so much of 3 and continued to go back.
I finished 3.
That's my thing. Yeah. So I love Fallout 3. I didn't like Fallout 4 all that much. I love Morrowind. Didn't like Skyrim so much, and I loved Oblivion.
Oblivion's so good.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
know, it's weird for me.
I'm really picky with my open worlds.
Yeah.
It's
Should try
sort
Fallout 3.
sort of arbitrary. Should try Fallout 3?
I love that game.
which one?
Fallout
She said
3.
Fallout 3.
Oh yeah, Liam Neeson plays your father, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
yes,
one
Liam
of the best
Neeson, I will do
parts.
whatever you say.
Yes, Papa.
You get to talk to a dog.
Oh, nice.
You get to. Never mind. Spoiler.
Yeah.
You
Final
get to-
point. Final point on GTA selling so many copies. I would suspect that not that. I guess this doesn't change anything, but I suspect that there'll just be even less of a rush to get GTA 6 going or get it out. You know, Rockstar was always going to take their time and never ship anything till it's ready. But I really think GTA 5 shipped in fall 2013. I would take the in and out bet. I think it's going to be like 2019.
GTA 4 was what, the early 2008?
Yeah, like April 08. I think you're right. Yeah. So that was five and a half years.
Yeah, I could see late next year or 2019. I think it'll be like a swan song for if this generation's actually a console generation, this console generation.
Right. Because, I mean,
Oh my god, I don't even
Sort
know
of like
because
GTA.
about that.
five. Because then they can sell it on the next on the new hardware again and get that whole second win like they've done with
2019, I guess it is kind of far away since we're just getting into 2017 now. But like, do you guys honestly think that we'll see a new console generation at that point ish?
Yeah, these things came out in 2013. I mean, granted, we're getting
we're getting that
everything's
now,
a little
yeah.
bit different with Scorpio.
I don't think so now.
Yeah, iterative
I don't really-
consoles.
I still do. I mean, I think
just
2020.
seems, I don't know. It seems I guess it's not true because I've had my Xbox for a long time, but it feels like I just got it.
Yeah, but eventually there's going to be a point where someone wants to make a game and is like, "Hey, this straight up our vision does not run on a launch Xbox One or a launch PS4.
Right.
So we need the next step."
Well, the other thing too is even though yes, Rockstar North is the main Grand Theft Auto development team in Scotland, Rockstar, somewhat like Ubisoft in a bit of a sense, does sort of have like all their studios work on each game now. Like a bunch, they all chipped in on GTA 5, and even though I'm sure should be San Diego leading Red Dead Redemption, it's still like you'll see the Hausers at the Hauser brothers as the sort of lead writers and directors and producers in the beginning. Like so, still they've got their Rockstar's got to be channeling a huge bulk of their energy into Red Dead 2. Yeah, Rockstar North is probably they're of course ramping up GTA 6, but I just suspect that with most of the company's energy into Red Dead this year, there's no way we'd see GTA 6 turned around any sooner than 2 years after Red Dead 2 comes out.
I even feel like 2019 is soon.
Maybe it is.
In a weird way. Like, I imagine that we continue to get online support for GTA 5, and then they give us a bunch of online support for Red Dead 2, and then I wonder if maybe when GTA Online maybe dies out is when we get that single-player DLC, if that ever happens.
I don't think so.
Didn't they promise that?
Well, I don't know if promise is the right word. They said that they were doing it, but
I
kind of.
I can understand why you would say that they won't do it, in that it's more profitable for them to continue supporting GTA Online. But I also feel like I just feel like they will deliver.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you're like, hey, if we can make this $20 thing people would buy for these 75 million people who own this game, like,
yeah,
it could arguably be the biggest single piece of DLC ever.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, you could very well be. Maybe it's going to be 2020 for GTA 6.
It's like right
Could
now,
happen.
it seems like it didn't launch that long ago, like because it's still so relevant.
Well,
right?
and because it launched on PC later and it launched on current gen consoles later.
Yeah.
We still talk about online all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
It's like so hard to believe. It really
Hard to
doesn't
believe
feel
it's been 3.5 years.
like it is.
Finally, this week, Starbreeze, who we know as the developer behind Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which shout out to Mitch Dyer. He loves that game.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like that game.
R.I.P. Mitch.
R.I.P. Mitch. And Payday, the Payday games. And what else?
Directed by David Goldfarb, Andrew Goldfarb's dad.
That's right. He's kidding, by the way. It's not actually.
But David
no
Goldfarb
relation.
will often tweet Andrew Goldfarb and refer to him as my son.
Really?
I find it very funny. Yeah.
That boy's been posting a lot of gym selfies lately.
David Goldfarb or Andrew?
David.
Okay.
And he's very impressive.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like you guys should check him out.
Start following. I guess I'm missing out.
He's like an older gentleman. He's getting real fit, and it's great.
He's got the dad bod.
Well, no, he's like super fit.
He's getting out of the dad bod.
Out of the yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming that I'm thinking of the right person. Otherwise, it's just
I
super
really
weird.
hope you're not, because I would find that so funny.
Anyway, Starbreeze is going to help. They're going to publish Psychonauts 2 for Double Fine, which is really good news. They're pumping $8 million into it, in addition to the almost $4 that was crowdfunded on Fig, and then the unnamed chunk of money that Double Fine themselves is putting into the game. So it's due out in 2018, which is what Double Fine had always said. And I am thrilled about this, Marty.
Yeah, so am I. I'm stoked. I mean, the fact that, we've been talking for seemingly a year or two about the resurgence of the 3D platformer, and we're getting Ukulele very soon. We're going to get Mario by the end of the year, this next year. And the footage they showed, Double Fine just released a dev documentary where they started talking about the engine and talking about the tech behind it. And then it's really good off-screen footage of sort of just a prototype of Raz running around a level that looks like...
Well, didn't they recreate?
Pretty much, they recreated like the setting
camp?
of the original. Yeah, the camp. And it just looks so good. Looks so colorful.
The lighting's
incredible.
So good.
Yeah.
There was a Psychonauts VR thing, wasn't there?
So there is. It's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yes.
You've tried it though, haven't you?
Both of us.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
I just put up a kind of Let's Play-ish video on IGN. I played the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Really liked it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have. I'm reviewing it. I'm going to start it soon. Once I figure out how to hook up a PSVR.
The other thing I like about this, Starbreeze, they're going to be, they are trying to get into publishing as some of the bigger independent developers have started to do, like Gearbox is doing that. But Starbreeze, I feel like, isn't going to meddle with Double Fine in this.
Yeah.
The way that some of the bigger third-party publishers might.
Yeah, what's the horror story with Psychonauts? Who is it?
Microsoft?
Psychonauts?
Microsoft dropped the game.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Remember?
I forgot about that.
That was, Ed Freese told I think he told the story in
Yeah.
here on Unfiltered, but they had 2 or 3 games of that same 3D platformer type thing, and the one had to go, and they picked the wrong one.
Yeah, picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
100% picked the wrong one.
My question is, when was the last time Double Fine worked with an external publisher to make a game? Haven't the last couple ones they've done been
All crowdfunded or
Yeah.
self-published? Yeah, that's actually...
I
I
thought that was
had
curious.
Midnight City published Costume Quest 2, which was sort of an independent.
And
third-party publisher.
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim published Headlander.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then,
It's been smaller publishers. I mean, like Starbreeze, I guess, smaller publishers. Like
with I guess there's a sort of half answer to your question too. With they've worked with Sony on the adventure, all the
on Grim
Tim's
Fandango,
Classic
Day the Tentacle,
and
yeah.
Full Throttle
Full
now.
Throttle.
But I don't think they're like, I don't know if they're funding it. That's actually a good question.
Sony did something.
Yeah,
Give them some money.
Well, I guess so. In exchange for the fact that it's only coming out on PlayStation
Same thing
platforms.
with Broken Age, because Broken Age still hasn't come to Xbox One, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
Correct.
going to ask.
Yeah.
But I thought they self-published that because wasn't that one of
That was
the
the
crowdfunded
Kickstarter.
ones?
That was the
Yeah,
original
that was the big
Kickstarter
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sort of one of the first big video game successes on Kickstarter.
Game's great.
The game rules.
Yeah.
So
Second.
good.
I forgot. I remember backing that one.
That was probably the first big video game Kickstarter.
Huh.
Yeah, the first one that broke. It was the highest grossing one for a long time.
Yeah, it hit its goal within, I think,
An
I think
hour.
it hit its goal within us writing the news story and me watching it hit its goal.
Right.
Crazy.
And then it got
And then I think
3.4 million.
Didn't it
eventually.
have like 1 million in the first day or
Yeah.
something? Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy.
I mean,
but-
long time
Ukulele
ago.
did super well too. Wasteland 2 did really well.
I mean, obviously, Psychonauts did really well.
yeah, Pillars of Eternity, Obsidian.
Yeah.
Just had Fergus Urquhart in for Unfiltered. They've had a lot of success.
Love that
with
man's
it.
name. That's a very good
It is the most RPG name. There is
Yes.
not a better genre of video
So
games
true.
that man
Yeah.
could have spent his career working on. So, Marty and I, all of us will be keeping a very close eye on Psychonauts 2. And the good news is they're right down the street. If we go knock on the door, they usually answer.
Literally spy on them. We're going to be arrested.
name. You said that into the microphone.
There's a mic. That's a hot mic right there. Don't. Yeah.
Hot Labs?
Hot Lab? That's Marty and Alana play Mass Effect reference. They're hot Labradors. Check it out.
Sorry, Ryan.
Okay.
Sorry, Ryan.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Sharkman.
Yeah.
We don't get to hear from you super often. Yeah.
Hit him.
Johanneman Sharkman.
Yeah. What can we spend our money on this week?
There's nothing to retail, unfortunately. But over on the digital front,
I'm before the storm, my friend.
yeah, right. But over on the digital front, we have Fallout Shelter, which is free. Great.
And rules.
If you haven't already played it on your phone, check it out
How
on
did that
Xbox.
take so long to come to Xbox?
That's a really good question.
Well, didn't it only kind of recently come out on PC? It was like end of last year, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was recent.
8 Days, which is $10. Don't know what that is.
Should have been 8.
Adventure Pop, which is free.
We call it Adventure Pop.
Pixel Heroes Byte and Magic. That's byte as like a kilobyte. BYTE. $10. And Knee Deep, which is $15.
like it.
What is Knee
Yeah,
Deep?
why don't you
like
like
it.
that?
I don't like any of these. I want to start. I'm going to quit IGN and start a firm where someone gives me their game name. And I'm going to say, I don't like it. And I'm going to give them a better.
I think
Game
they're all good. The ones that I don't like are the ones that are too long. So Pixel Heroes maybe a little bit too long.
Stay tuned for Knee Deep 2, Waist Deep, and Knee Deep 3, Neck Deep.
Ooh.
Minus Fallout Shelter, I just don't think the other names are descriptive at all. Like, wouldn't it be nice to kind of communicate what your game is by
Fallout
what it
Shelter
is?
is actually very clear on what it is.
Mhm.
Adventure
Well, also
Pop,
just because of Fallout, we know what that is. You know, it's like a big brand.
Well, a
but-
Fallout Shelter's a thing as well.
yeah, it
Yeah.
exists.
I feel like I wouldn't want to play Fallout Shelter sitting at my TV.
Now.
Like,
Yeah,
I think
no,
that game
it's
was
designed
tailor-made
for
for
mobile.
mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Which is
fine that it's
why-
on Xbox.
Oh, yeah,
Go
totally.
for
Like,
it,
it's not
but
a
yeah,
bad
it's
thing,
free.
but
And why
Which is
not?
why it like exploded on mobile, right?
Yeah. And like,
Wasn't
it
it
was
like the most successful mobile app like that year?
for a while. It like, because it was
Yeah.
launched, it was one of those, and it's out now
Yeah.
kind of things.
Oh
at
yeah,
the-
I
at the E3
downloaded that
conference.
immediately.
Yeah.
at an
Well,
after
it was
party.
one of those things at E3 when we were like, wait, can we get a Let's Play of it like now?
Yeah.
Who's got it? You know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Same thing like Angry Birds. I don't know why I like Angry Birds a lot. I don't want to play that on my couch.
I don't. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
a big
Those birds
mobile-
out of my living room.
I'm not a big mobile game. I didn't even play.
I wouldn't want to
Super
play
Mario
Super
Run.
Mario. Exactly.
Oh, I mean, I didn't even play it
Yeah.
at all.
I was saying, I
Just
wouldn't
like,
want
I
to play
don't-
that on my couch
I'm
either.
not a mobile. I'm not a iPhone mobile type person.
You're bad, man.
I don't know. There's just more interesting things that I'm going to do on my phone.
Well, it's specifically
poking.
Fallout Shelter is
Yeah,
great on
like
PC.
poking?
Poking.
Well, that
some
would
hot
certainly
pokes?
be more interesting.
Nah, not certain games. Device 6, that game's great. I'd rather Device 6 than Poke.
Because I don't even know what that is.
Great game.
Yeah, a mobile
What's
game.
happening anymore?
Neither.
I was so I'm super late to the party on House of Cards.
Yeah.
I've been
Oh
going
my
through
God, you are really.
it. Well, give me a break. I'm watching it, okay?
We've been talking about this for years.
So I'm in season 2, and Frank, there was a thing on Monument Valley is
Oh, yeah,
a plot
yeah.
point in
Yeah.
House of
Wait,
Cards.
the video game?
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
No way, I love
Every
that game.
season he like there is some really weird thing about a game where he's playing like Killzone in one of them, and
No,
then
the
he's
whole
playing
first
Monument
season
Valley.
is Call of Duty.
Yeah,
like,
he plays Call of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing the Call of Duty that Kevin Spacey was in. No, that'd be really weird.
That would
How does
be
he go from
so
Killzone
weird.
to
That
Call
would
of
be
Duty to
so
Monument
funny.
Valley?
You know, you could have a diverse swath of video games. Maybe it's analogous with his the rise and fall of his political career.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
well, we haven't fallen yet, right?
Hasn't he?
I'm only on
Hasn't
season
he?
2. Leave me alone.
Well, I mean, the show's still going, and it's amazing. It's always amazing. I'm just surprised that it took you so long to get into it. How did you even avoid spoilers?
I don't know.
That's
I
crazy.
just
Ryan, the spoiler bullet dodging hero. That's what it's like working here. I hope you guys know. Did you hear that Mike Aransky got Split spoiled for him?
Aw, dang.
In the most hilarious
Oh,
way.
Marty spoiled Terminator 2 for me. So.
I spoiled Terminator 2. First off,
Terminator 2 is
the
from
fact,
19
and it was while we were watching it, is the fact
What?
that
You got Terminator 2 spoiled for
no,
you?
Marty.
no, is the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a good guy in the movie a spoiler for Terminator 2?
Oh,
It's in the
that's not
trailer.
really-
I hadn't seen the trailer. I did not know.
The movie is
yeah, you're
almost
right.
as old as you.
I would.
It's
I'm
older.
sure it
It's
might be-
older.
it is
It's
older than you.
older.
But I mean, why would you like? We were sitting next to each other, and I was like, "Ooh, cool!" And he was like, "So the thing with this movie is, White when it gets to that like flower thing where he's got the box."
Yeah.
And then he told me, I was like, "Why would you tell
I
me?"
thought it was just a known
Why
quantity.
would you just not say anything?
So I might.
I'm
say,
with Marty on this one.
No,
I might
didn't
say
know.
it's not technically a spoiler, but it is something that the movie does interestingly.
That scene would have been so cool if I didn't know because Marty hadn't told me a second beforehand.
Have you? Okay, hold on.
Oh,
So maybe it was
the
poor
bad thing
timing.
was not. I think it was less that I spoiled it. Like if I just spoiled it, like on a podcast when she wasn't watching it. But the fact that I literally,
I was
if I would have
watching it.
waited, if I would have waited quite literally 5 seconds,
Yeah, it would've been
she would have got the reveal, and then I could have said the same thing.
So, had you seen Terminator 1 prior to this? Okay, so you had that context.
Yes.
Then.
Had
All
you
right.
seen T3 Rise of the Machines?
No.
Have you seen Terminator Salvation?
No.
Have you seen the other Terminator movie that I did not see?
Oh my God,
Genesis.
Genesis
You
is
did not
so bad. I mean,
so
none of
bad.
them after 2 are great. Although
I really liked to.
Two's
amazing.
incredible.
Two's like a cinematic classic, like a landmark.
Well, I particularly liked that they had this villain that you didn't know if it could ever die. And I feel like a lot of movies are like, this is what we have to do to kill it. And then I was just like, is this going to kill it? I have no idea. Like, I loved that.
Or like in the end, he gets the upper. Wait, we've all seen it, right?
It's,
we've all
go
seen
ahead, it's
Terminator
2.
Right?
It's statute of limitations this long.
Yeah, but like
expired.
they're in the foundry or whatever, and like he gets frozen. You're like, oh, they have him like frozen, and then for some reason Arnold shatters, and we're like, you're a machine. You should know that increases the surface area. It'll melt faster. I don't know why he did that, but it's just so cool that he did it. You know, I don't know, but
good movie.
What an amazing flick.
Yeah, check out if you haven't seen it. James Cameron's Terminator 2, T2, Judgment Day.
3 and 4 have
Sorry,
some interesting
Monty,
ideas in
already
it, but
spoiled
they're
it
not
for you,
that great.
Have you seen the alternate ending version that's on the DVD? Have you seen that?
I don't know.
You have, I'm sure.
What?
I don't know what you're
there was
referring to
this,
actually though.
in Terminator 2, there's on like the Steelbook edition from back in the day. There's an alternate ending.
Oh.
That shows Sarah Connor way in the future.
Oh, that I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I thought you meant like there was no.
Oh, it's just like
No,
it's a
it's-
thumbs down. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, no, that sucks.
I immediately regret this decision.
Wait, pull me up. Let's be together forever, John.
Oh man.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that.
Anyway, what else? What else can we
Yeah, sorry.
spend our money
Moving
on?
on. We
We
have
get from knee deep to Terminator 2 alternate.
Does it matter?
just
It's
easier
fine.
to talk about cool stuff. We have Lego Indiana Jones added towards backwards compatibility.
That game's cool.
Yeah,
That's
Good one.
the only Lego game where you can kill Nazis.
interesting.
So far,
Lego Schindler's List,
2017.
2017.
For the month of February on Xbox One, we have Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time.
Sounds cool.
Just anything like
That game's fun. It's a fun co-op game where you're both piloting a
Plus,
spaceship.
you know what that is.
interesting.
My job to know what it is.
That was so dismissive.
I know.
Is that,
Look at that.
Sounds like a Marty game.
is that
Well, you're right
anything
about
like
that.
Love in a Time of Cholera?
It is absolutely nothing like.
That novel or whatever it is. I haven't read it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a novel. Magical realism. Yo.
Project Cars Digital Edition is available from the middle of February to the middle of March. So February 16th to March 15th on Xbox One. There you go. Cool. Monkey Island 2, the special edition, is available for the first 2 weeks of February on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And then we got Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which is February 16th to the 28th on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. The better Force Unleashed. Did you guys play the sequel?
Nah.
Nah.
It wasn't that good.
Wow, resounding nah from me.
Yeah.
Monkey Island's great,
IGN.com
though.
says
You got
nah.
the rules.
Nah.
Yeah.
Unlock block trivia time. Everybody's no. Let's mark your. Where's that pen? You have it. Want to pick one?
Are we finally starting to pick things? Okay.
Yes, I remembered a pen or pencil last week. I remembered a writing utensil. So our unlock block trivia question this week comes to us from Nick in Lilly, Kentucky, who asks, which of the following is not one of the enemy factions in the original Crackdown? Another Crackdown question. Too bad Destin's not here, but whatever.
Definitely got that wrong.
So the factions that you can take on and take down in the original Crackdown were 3 of these 4 are ones from the actual game. One of them's not. Pick out the fake one. Was it Los Muertos? Is that fake? Syntech Industries, Volk, or Sherigen Corporation?
Why are you hiding your answer? We all have. Sean and I have already written ours down. We wrote them down before you even entered the room.
Okay. Shark?
You wrote E.
So I went with C, Volk, which I now think is wrong.
I also went with C Volk, and I have no idea.
Marty?
I went with A. Also have no idea. I feel like Los Muertos is the least beep boop soundy of these.
I did
So
think that.
my-
It does sound the least beep boop.
I feel like Los Muertos is a faction in Sunset Overdrive.
I do too. Because there was like a Day of the Dead faction in that.
Yeah.
right?
There is.
And I think they're called Los Muertos, so which is why like I should have caught that, but I also didn't
I
think,
just
don't
figured,
know.
like, why would you put the red herring be something that sounds so different to the others,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Also, Volk, if you rearrange the letters, is Colv.
That's a very good point, Marty. Thank you.
Well, Nick from Lilly, Kentucky
Wait,
is
what?
laughing at all of you.
Oh, dang. Am I still,
None of you got it right.
do I still have 0?
Oh,
Still,
no.
still a big donut on the scoreboard
Is it
for the
still
year.
What was it? D?
It's Syntech,
Damn it.
which is from Sin, the classic 1998 first-person shooter that's really good.
Oh, well,
Yeah, Syntech's from another game, so.
98 I was already in the Counter-Strike years, so.
Oh.
The great Counter-Strike years of 98.
Literally
uh,
I played that one game for 10 years straight and played no other games.
That's not a good thing.
What? That's not great.
No, it is great. It's the greatest game of all time.
Counter-Strike is pretty good. Also, I was
Nick,
5.
good job. You've won yourself a copy of a game of some kind. I've got, like I said, the usual old Gears games. I've got GTA 5 soundtrack, a 3-disc, like nice, pretty soundtrack package. Rainbow Six Siege, Rainbow Six Vegas 1 or 2, and a copy of Dishonored 2, donated by Albert Menifee. So
Also,
Albert Menifee the fourth.
Next week there'll be also $5 if you send in a Banjo-Kazooie question.
We're giving looks at the camera for anyone who's listening to the audio.
There you go.
It was very persuasive looks.
You heard it from McBiggity himself.
We looked up. Max looked up the average lifespan of a brown bear and informed me that Banjo would be dead.
Max can leave.
And then we were trying to look
Really
up
gonna
the
do
average
that?
life of a breagle, and I quickly realized a breagle is not a real bird. Not a real bird. No.
Is that a brown
Eagle?
Is that a beagle crossed with a?
No, it's breagle. That's what
Brown.
Kazooie
That's
is.
what Kazooie is.
No, but he's trying to say, like, where's the name from?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure. I'm trying to source the
I
origin.
think it's because it's something that she says.
Breagle!
Yeah. So it's like I would guess that they made that noise
She?
and then they named her.
Yeah, Kazooie's a girl. It's Banjo's girlfriend.
I didn't know that.
No, that's not true.
Phil Spencer, please announce Banjo 383 just because I want
No,
to
it'll
see
ruin the show.
reaction of
That
these.
is all we will ever
these
talk about
two.
ever again. You don't want that.
Well, you can start your Banjo 3E podcast. See? Look at the bright side.
The Banjo
That's a
cast.
really good idea. Like you said that like it was creative.
Oh, I did it.
The banjo cast.
Ship it. The best idea on the table.
It'll just be called. Wee wow. I don't know how to type that.
Go.
The Hookcast.
Legal.
We have to leave.
Oh dang.
This is all spiraling downward out of
Spiral
control.
Hill.
I'm just gonna stand
Spiral
there
Mountain.
at 11.
Alana Pierce.
Hey.
Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I am at Charalanazard on all of the social medias, and I'm currently prepping for Toy Fair in New York
Nice.
next week. We have a whole bunch of exclusive toy stuff that's going to be going up over the next couple of weeks.
Juliana's Pizza.
I've been there, man.
Trust me. Okay, you already know the story then. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Bring me back some.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it over the bridge while I'm
It's
there
just
for work.
it's
but
just a quick Uber
Because you're
one night.
scared of your fear of bridges.
yeah, I'm terrified.
Aren't we boycotting Uber these days?
Lyft or whatever. Cab. Just whatever you walk.
Pop
It's
culture
fine.
reference.
Just
Or I guess
get
not pop culture, just regular culture reference.
just a reference.
It's just a reference.
Marty?
You can find me at McBiggity on all of those things. That's fine.
Fine. You good?
Yeah. Just be good to each
Good
other.
with that. Yeah. Solid advice. Shark?
At Shop by Finnegan on all the social platforms and also on Xbox Live. Add me on Xbox Live if you're good at Warzone. Mythic Warzone is back in Halo. It's the hardest PvE content in the game. I play with people. They suck. And it's like, I can't win. And I get real frustrated because I'm a tryhard. So add me up if you're good and we'll play.
You know what you need to do? You need to carry the team on your back.
Impossible
Carry
in
the
that
team.
mode.
All right.
It's all about the team being good.
I love how sassy that was. Impossible. You gotta carry the team.
You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Unfiltered, IGN Unfiltered. We got Fergus Urquhart's the latest episode. I've got, I'm shooting 6 of them in the next, 3 weeks.
GDC.
So that'll be, thanks GDC. That's actually,
wow.
which is a good thing. It'll be good to sit down and chat with a bunch of the coolest developers around. And
You know, we probably have a first Friday that's around the same time as GDC, wouldn't we? Is that the first?
on
be
paper,
literally the first Friday.
that would be a first
I don't,
Friday.
I don't know if we're able to do that.
Well,
That's
I
the day
will-
Switch and Logan.
Oh,
and
there's no
Zelda
way
come out.
that's
Oh boy,
We'll
Yeah,
be
that's a shame.
we'll be all hands on
That'll be our
deck.
last Friday.
Well, at the very least, if anyone's coming to San Francisco for GDC, we'll be around.
Yeah.
Usually walk between the convention center and the office a whole lot. And
I was
cool place to
I
meet
hadn't been down at Moscone in a while, and I was
Nice
at the
place.
I was down near there the other day for a preview appointment. It's the South Hall is
Completely under construction.
completely, and it's
Oh, wow.
very different than it was. It is being completely
Yeah.
redone. I mean, curious to see how that turns out. but-
Also, later in March, if you're going to be at PAX East, Alana and I will be there. And we have a panel on Friday and a panel on
Excellent.
Saturday. And I'll get those details on a day that isn't today.
is there a meet and greets?
Probably so. Maybe we'll do some small impromptu thing.
Awesome,
Yeah.
cool.
Meet and greets.
Why not? See, I did that for you guys. That was for you guys.
Thanks, man.
For Alana, Marty, and the Shark, I'm Ryan. This has been Unlocked, Palindrome Edition 282, and we'll see you guys next week.